Hey everyone, for the past week I've been driving this 2021 Mercedes-AMG GLS 63. This thing is insane. Sticker price is $153,000. One of the craziest vehicles I've ever reviewed. I actually took it on a backpacking trip this weekend and it's a little dirty, so I thought we would first run it through the car wash because it's actually got a car wash setting that I thought might be kind of cool to check out. Okay, so here we are on the settings screen. I'm going to go in here, and then right there is car wash mode. So we will start automatic car wash mode. The mirrors are going in, so there's a little checklist there that shows everything. It's done a bunch of stuff actually. The suspension is raising up so that the wheel wells get as clean as possible, which is great because I was driving on a dirt road this weekend. All right, so we're in neutral. The front and rear cameras are on, I guess as a way to guide you onto the track. They came on a little bit late. Parking sensors are off. The rain sensing windshield wipers are turned off. You can see it says automatic car wash mode active. It's a really smart feature. It seems like more vehicles should have it. And there you go. And here's a look at everything that car wash mode does. So it raises the vehicle up, folds in the mirrors, turns off the parking sensors, turns off the rain sensor for the windshield wipers, turns off the rear wiper, and it makes sure that the sunroof and the windows are closed. And there, I just turned it off. Mirrors came out, the vehicle is lowering, and everything's going back to normal. And now that it's all clean, we can take a closer look at the GLS here. So this vehicle was fully redesigned for 2020. It's now in its third generation. It's the biggest SUV that Mercedes-Benz makes. It's fair to think of it as an SUV version of the S-Class. It offers room for up to 7 passengers. You can get it with second row captain's chairs, but this one has a bench, so it can seat up to 7. And speaking of this one, it's the high-performance Mercedes-AMG GLS 63 model that comes out for 2021. Under the hood, you will find a twin-turbo 4-liter V8 engine. It puts out 603 horsepower and 627 pounds-feet of torque. That is enough to propel this thing from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 4.5 seconds, which feels absolutely insane in a vehicle of this size. There's really only one competitor. It's the BMW X7 that came out fairly recently. It's actually a little bit bigger than the GLS here. Then there's also the Audi Q7, which is a fair bit smaller than the GLS, despite coming standard with 3 rows of seats as well. Like I mentioned, this is a high-performance AMG model. It has a sticker price of $153,000, and it is loaded with some of the craziest features that you will find in any vehicle anywhere. So without further ado, let's get to a tour of the GLS. Starting up front, like most modern Mercedes-AMG products, this thing gets a unique front grille with these really huge vertical bars. The whole grille area is very large. It's really open behind it. I can almost get my whole hand through there. You've also got a little AMG badge, really little AMG badge, down in the corner of the grille there. And then from afar, you can tell this is an AMG model, also because of the unique lower front fascia. Down the side, this thing has massive 23-inch wheels. They're this multi-spoke design, so they're black, then they've got the silver rim, and then some silver in here with AMG in 2 places on the inside of that wheel. Behind them are big AMG brakes and drilled and slotted rotors. V8 bi-turbo badge on the fender. Down the side, it's kind of funny that this thing has side steps, given that it has an adjustable suspension, so it can lower itself to be really low to the ground. Still, for whatever reason, they decided to put side steps on it. Around back, more badging. So, in years past, this would have been the Mercedes GLS 63 AMG, but Mercedes switched up its naming structures a few years back, so now you would refer to this as the Mercedes-AMG GLS 63. Quad exhaust tips on this thing, and it does actually have 4 exhaust pipes behind this rear valence here. It even says AMG inside of all 4 tips. Pretty aggressive rear diffuser. Power rear liftgate, because of course. Decent amount of cargo volume back here, so there is a 3rd row. We'll get to that in a minute, but I first want to show you all of these buttons back here. So this button puts down all of the seats, the 2nd and 3rd rows. This one just puts down the left seat in the 2nd row. This one puts down the right 2nd row seat. And then you move over here, and this one moves the left 3rd row seat up and down, the right 3rd row seat up and down, and then this one will actually make the vehicle squat in the rear to make it easier to get things in and out. So you can hear the suspension working. Goes down pretty low. That back wheel is nearly tucked into the rear wheel well. And then when it's lowered, yeah, the rear load floor is pretty low. The bumper comes up to about halfway up my thigh here. Little compartment under here, like in most SUVs. That's where you can store a rear cargo cover, which is really nice to have. You can stash it in there though when you need to use the 3rd row seat. There's no spare tire. It looks like there's a space for one, but instead of a tire, it just comes with a compressor and a patch kit. Pretty much par for the course for modern luxury cars. We'll put one of these 3rd row seats up. It takes a minute. Every single seat in this thing is power operated. I guess that's kind of what you have to do with a modern luxury car, but I find it to be overly complicated. It takes a while to get the seats up and down. I've been driving this thing for a week and I still don't know how the 2nd row really works. You've got buttons there on top of the seat and then back here. And in addition to the seat controls, which, like every Mercedes product, are on the door. Yeah, it's still a guessing game to me to get these seats positioned how I want them. As we jump inside here, I want to show you one luxury feature that you might miss if you didn't know it was there, but this thing has soft close doors. So I'll open the door and then just kind of let it close. And you can see it pull itself in there. I'll do it one more time in case you missed it. Yeah, so I guess it makes the doors a little bit smoother. I don't know. Probably not worth it in my eyes, but it's a feature that you find on a lot of really high-end luxury vehicles like this one. As we get in here, I'm noticing a fair amount of orange peel in the paint. I'll give you a look from the inside here. Yeah. So, as for this interior, if you've been in many modern Mercedes-Benz products, it's gonna feel pretty familiar. Luckily, it's also pretty good. Minimalist design. So you've got one row of buttons on the dashboard here. They control things like air temperature, fan speed, and other HVAC stuff. And then you've got this single panel that houses both a digital gauge cluster and a touchscreen infotainment system. We'll go ahead and turn this thing on. All right, lots of cool stuff we could cover in here, so I will try to make this brief. One of my favorite features of these modern AMG products are these buttons on the steering wheel. So you can see they have screens in them, but they are buttons. Here you can cycle through different performance features, we'll call them. So this is actually a screen inside of a button here. So there you can cycle through AMG stuff, suspension settings, transmission settings, start stop, on and off, and you can choose what you want to control via these buttons here. So maybe I want the AMG setting there, and then the exhaust setting here, and then via these buttons you can change them. So there's the exhaust set to powerful, back to normal, gets a little bit louder when you put it on powerful. And then you can turn on the AMG dynamics from Sport, Sport Plus, Normal. Over here, you can cycle through different drive modes. So you've got Comfort, which is your default setting. You've also got Sport and Sport Plus. And then the other direction, Individual, Snow, Trail, and Sand. If you press this button, it takes you straight into individual mode, which I've configured to be pretty much like Sport Plus. So I've got this engine set to dynamic, transmission set to automatic, AMG driving mode on, and then Sport Plus for the suspension and powerful for the exhaust. So I like this because I can have the car in comfort, and then if I'm on the highway and say I want to pass somebody, I just push that button and it goes into all my performance settings and I can pass them quickly. Center console's set up pretty well here. You've got redundant controls for all the different performance settings, just like you've got them on the steering wheel. This is just a little rest for your wrist. And then this is a touchpad that allows you to control the infotainment system, which I mentioned is also a touch screen. Something kind of crazy about this thing, you notice all this red ambient LED interior lighting. It is everywhere. I mean, everywhere. It's even in the back, along the speakers in the ceilings, on the doors. It's everywhere. You can actually adjust it via this dial right here. So it's blue, green. We'll make it bright pink. Yeah. Dark red. Yeah, you get the gist. The verdict's kind of out on the LED strips. Do they cheapen the car a little bit? Maybe. You be the judge. Anyway, moving back on the center console, and something crazy you get with this one, you turn the heated seats on, but not only are the seats heated, but the armrests on the doors and on the center console are heated as well. So yeah, only something you'll find in a $100,000 plus luxury vehicle. As for this storage box itself, well, it is broken. There are only about 6,000 miles on this car, and yeah, these press vehicles do take a beating though, so somebody probably broke it by accident. So to open it, you gotta push it and pull that, and yeah, in here you've just got a USB-C port and then an area to stash a phone or something maybe. Not the biggest center console storage box. You'd think on a vehicle like this it would be much bigger, but yeah, for whatever reason the Germans aren't the best when it comes to cabin storage. I just mentioned USB-C. This vehicle is loaded with USB-C ports. It actually only has USB-C. There's two up here, one in the center console, and then a bunch in the back for even the third row passengers. Lots of connectivity ports. Another cool thing, the cup holders here are both heating and cooling. So you push this button and it's on cool right now, so the light turns blue. Turn it off, put it on warm, the light's red, and because I have this set to red, it defaults to red too, but there we go, we have it on green, so when the cup holder's turned off altogether, the light's green. Turn it on cool, it's blue. Turn it on warm, it's red. There you go. Yeah, I could go on and on about this cabin. It's crazy. This armrest here is very warm, as is the seat, as is the door panel armrest. Pure opulence here in the GLS 63. And now let's check out the back seat. As for the back seat, it is pretty much as nice as the front seat. The idea here is that maybe you buy this vehicle to drive it yourself, or maybe you buy it so that you can be driven around in it with a chauffeur. So, back seat has just about all the amenities that you get in the front seat. On the door here, you'll notice LED lighting, seat controls for the second row on the door panels, just like there are seat controls on the front door panels. Heated and ventilated second row seats. Here you've got another one of those heated and cooled cup holders, and then HVAC controls on the back of the center console. The really interesting part though is hiding behind the second row armrest. Open it and you will find this little Android tablet. So you push this button and it pops out. So we'll go to the home page and you'll notice that this screen is the same as the center infotainment screen. So that allows your backseat passengers to control things like the radio, media, different comfort settings. We'll jump in here. You can adjust the ambient interior lighting. So there it's red. We can make it green. Let's go blue. It's a really deep blue. You can control all that. You've got a massage function for both of these back seats. You can adjust the sun blind for the panoramic sunroof. Yeah, all kinds of crazy stuff back here, hiding in this little Android tablet in the center console. Oh, shit. Oh, I just ran it out of gas.